O'Neill Outside Radio is brought to you by these fine sponsors: WORX Power and Garden Tools, Toyota, let's go places. Visit your local Toyota dealers today. Big Green Egg, the most popular and most versatile ceramic grill. Huff Shed, great storage sheds and custom buildings. Year One, classic car parts for American muscle cars. Arctic Ice, the most durable, versatile, and effective cooler packs available. Timbuktu Outdoors, the ideal solution to live bait. Furminator, the best food plot implement on earth. And the Georgia Department of Natural Resources and State Parks.
From Black Powder Headquarters and the Bojangled Studio at Three Falls Cabin in the North Georgia Mountains, it's time for O'Neill Outside. For anything in the outdoors, this is your source. Listen in and call the show with your comments or questions. And now, here's O'Neill.
Welcome, everyone. From the Bojangled Studio high in the mountains of North Georgia, and this and Three Falls Cabin. I'm sorry I'm behind. This is O'Neill Outside, bringing you WORX Radio. I'll get it all right in a moment. Welcome to the program, everyone. 2 hours of outdoors headed your way. No politics, no finance, no discussions about other than fishing, hunting, camping, outdoors, spending some time with your family and enjoying it. We all have lots of time off now, it seems, but we won't comment about the political situation or anything of that nature. We're enjoying ourselves this morning, and I hope you'll join us. You can listen to O'Neill Outside at WSB and 95.5 FM out of Atlanta, covering 38 states, the 155 SB Nation stations, coast to coast. That's sports broadcast, so that you'll know, and I get chastised for that frequently. And so and this program is brought to you on video on Facebook by Monday afternoon or Tuesday, so why not join us? The telephone numbers are 404-872-0750, 404-872-0750 in the greater Atlanta area, and across the world at 800-972-8255, 800-972-8255. We'll have a busy morning, as always. We'll have the Medal of Honor, the mailbag. We'll have the True Turn Tackle Tip, the radio prize package, the prize package coupon for Rocco's Pub, and, of course, your calls. You can watch O'Neill Outside on the Fox networks, that is, and the VOD networks. And if you go to o'neilloutside.com, you can find every place you can watch it, include the website. So, what do you say? Let's get together and talk this morning about the outdoors. Again, the telephone number is 404-872-0750 or 800-972-8255. And let's get started when we get back. It's my privilege every Saturday morning at the top of each hour to mention to you our sponsors. If there are no sponsors to O'Neill Outside, there is no show. So we're proud to have these first-class sponsor associates, so give me a moment. WORX Tools, that HydroShot really works. Stripling's General Store. Tough Shed. We got a Tough Shed outside. Been there 2 years. Rock solid. That's where I've got all my fishing tackle. Snellville Heating and Air. They look after everything. Rocco's Pub, a great place for wings. Georgia Department of Natural Resources, State Parks and Historic Sites. Big Green Egg Smokers and Grills. True Turn Hooks and Roadrunner Lures. Arctic Ice Freezer Packs. I don't have to buy any ice anymore for the coolers. The podcast, and we'll talk more about that later. Fisher's Choice Baits. Gin Spring. They have a generator here at the cabin and have had now for 19 years. Finally, Rid-A-Critter. That makes a difference. No more scratchy sounds upstairs. We don't, with the squirrels and rats and all live outside now. So we got that out of the way. The telephone numbers are 404-872-0750, 800-972-8255 in Georgia. And in many states, this is the last weekend for turkey season. The eastern wild turkey for most of us. Very, very cyclical. I'd love to hear about your season. I did not go this year. I fell off a ladder, okay, and I hurt myself. So going and walking into the woods and sitting there and tracking down one of these thunder chickens was something I didn't get to do this year. But I'd love to hear your story. Did you get one? Did it work? Did the turkeys teach you anything? Well, in the program today, a lot of our tips that we put together will have to do with turkey hunting, and I'd love to hear from you guys. But we have a lot of tips today. We have the mailbag. We have True Turn tackle tips from TJ, some great fishing tips, a lot of which are reminders, things that you already know, but sometimes you set aside and you don't get to them. You forget them. You don't use them. There are reasons why, believe me, between Kevin Van Dam and Roland Martin and Bill Dance and all these youngsters now that win tournaments and win the classics and catch a great number of bass, people who catch brim and stripers, the guides, they use tips and they use things, little things as they go along the way during the day that makes their catch the max. And so we get to talk about those things, and I'd love to hear your tips as a response of sometimes when I pass them along. But beyond that, a lot of people will write to us during the week via our website wanting to know where can they watch O'Neill Outside. It's been on the air now. The television show has been on the air now for, good grief, it's been on the air now for 39 years, or this is our 39th year on the air. And so I guess we're used to being there. 16 minutes after the hour, 404-872-0750, 800-972-8255. We were off last week because of some our engineer, Karen, had to have some minor surgery, and it had to happen on Friday, so we thought we would better set that aside. It's Karen Green who has set that, and I've mentioned this before, but you may find it interesting if you didn't hear it on other occasions. Our little studio, the Bojangles studio, is in our cabin high in the North Georgia mountains, and we send the signal over the internet to WSB radio. They in turn route that signal to Karen's studio in Peachtree City, Georgia. Then it is routed or sent, or whatever the case might be, to Texas, to the headquarters for the Sports Broadcast Nation. Then it is rebroadcast all in microseconds to 155 SB Nation stations across the country. It's quite an engineering feat. And if I ever have a problem with anything in all this, I just fix it myself. And I can do that by calling Karen. I don't have to do anything. So that's how this works. So we are in the mountains of North Georgia on Eastern Time, and it's 17 minutes after the hour. Now, a couple of 3 weeks ago, I got wrapped up in, and this is not a science program, it's not political, and I brought the subject up because as I speak to you guys as outdoorsmen, I feel it's my responsibility, my privilege indeed, to comment on things that have to do with the outdoors. Global warming, global change, the green energy deal, not politically now, but if you're an outdoorsman, and someone mentions this sort of thing, I want you to be able to respond correctly, factually. So I brought that subject up, and a listener sent a nice note to an email to my website stating how, quite frankly, how wrong I was and how irresponsible it was for me to be saying that the CO2 emissions that is warming the planet is very irresponsible for me to say that that's not because of mankind. My position is, and should be yours, that the Pleistocene era ended 11,700 years ago, in which a generous portion of the planet was covered by glaciers. And it warmed up 11,700 years ago. It warmed up, and the ice retreated to the Arctic and to the Antarctic. And it warmed up since record keeping in 1880. It's the surface temperature, or the temperature of our environment rose 0.8 degrees in 140 years. That's 5/100ths of a degree per year for 140 years. Do we contribute? Well, we can't help but contribute. But I would tell you, think about the fact that the Pleistocene era ended 11,700 years ago, and we've been warming up ever since. And prior to 1920, then we had no fossil fuels being burned. But it warmed up anyway. How is that? The fellow who wrote me said, because I had said that we're getting closer to the Earth in our orbit. I didn't say that. I said the Earth wobbles in its orbit. And I've done some little research since then. And indeed, the orbit of the Earth around the Sun, because of the positions of Jupiter, Saturn, Mars, and other planets, that from time to time, about once every 450,000 years, our orbit changes minutely. Is it warming up? Yes. Are we having a contribution? Yes. But so minutely, according to Science Magazine, for us to realize an effect from it will take hundreds of years, if not thousands of years. If you're an outdoorsman, you're approached on that subject, now you know better. 404-872-0750, 800-972-8255. We'll get to the calls when we get back. Welcome back, everyone. 25 after the hour. You're listening to O'Neill Outside and WORX Radio, nationwide, every Saturday in our 29th year. And we're privileged this morning to have some calls coming in, which we enjoy very, very much. And on line number 6 here is John, and he's calling from Irondale, Alabama, one of my favorite places. Good morning, John.
Good morning, O'Neill. How are you doing today?
Outstanding. We've got some good trips planned, don't we, buddy?
We sure do. I'm looking forward to going to Bourgeois Charters.
Oh, boy. Yes,
area.
indeed. We'll talk about that later in the program. Tell me about your turkey season.
Well, it was one of the best turkey seasons I've ever experienced, O'Neill. I was able to take advantage of the coronavirus lockdown in Alabama. And since I didn't have to take my child to school every day, I was free to go turkey hunting every morning with my father.
Good. Good for you. And I know you're let me ask you a question, John. If you can, and these are all surprise things. John and I are friends, fishing buddies, and so forth, and we've never been turkey hunting together. But let me ask you the following question. Generally speaking, other than a locator call, and I asked the question, do you use a locator?
I do, O'Neill.
Okay. Generally speaking, after you sit down in a blind or at a base of a tree, how many times will you call before you see and therefore are hunting a particular bird?
Well,
Tough question. Huh?
I'll give you a lawyer answer,
Okay.
O'Neill, and it depends on the bird.
Okay.
If I hear a bird gobbling early in response to an owl call or a crow call, and he gets really excited, well, then I'll get excited too, and I'll call back to the bird.
Okay.
But if the birds aren't cooperating, I spend a lot more time listening than I do calling.
Okay, good. So every hunt's different for you in that regard.
That's right.
That's good. Well, I always want to, I use the callers like yourself, people who go often. I will manipulate you into a lesson for many other turkey hunters, rookies, people who don't go very often, people who find themselves unsuccessful, and I know you are a very successful turkey hunter. And so tell me the following, other than the obvious answer being movement, what do you think is the biggest mistake the average turkey hunter makes?
Well, in my opinion, it's calling too much.
Okay. That's where I led you down that path, because I think the same thing.
Yeah, in fact, O'Neill, the old-timers always used to say, yelp 3 times and put your collar away.
Yeah, I agree 100%. Yes, indeed.
But let me tell you something. When you've got a gobbler out there wearing it out, it's really hard to keep your calls in your vest.
Yes, it is. Do you hunt usually? Do you hunt from a blind? Do you move a lot as necessary?
Well, in my younger days, I was a runner and gunner. I would, owl, find a gobbler, and I would pursue him. But lately, since I've gotten a little slower, I've tended to hunt more from blinds.
Okay.
And focused on fields early in the morning.
Aha. Have you ever used a fan to hunt a bird?
I have, and it was usually a disaster for me personally. But
okay.
I have a lot of turkey hunting friends who have used fans very successfully.
Okay. I've seen a lot of videos about it. I have not done it, but I have, as you say, I've got a couple of buddies that have had some amazing results, very surprising results using a big fan.
Well, I've started using decoys a lot over the last 4 or 5 years, and I've had a wide range of results in using the decoys, O'Neill.
Okay.
I found that sometimes a bird will come right into a decoy. Like I killed a gobbler with a 12-inch beard this year that flew down off the roost with a couple of hens, and he came right in, and I dispatched him about 7:30 in the morning.
Oh, short hunt.
But the rest of the season, the turkeys were scared to death with my decoys. So,
I've had that happen too.
Yeah. So as I progressed further into Alabama's season, I started leaving the decoys in the truck, O'Neill, and just tried to get them within gun range the old-fashioned way.
All right, one other question, John, and I do appreciate you calling. We're learning something from your call. Now, Irondale is near Birmingham, is it not?
That's correct.
Okay. Generally, are you hunting south of Birmingham into flatter country?
I was hunting just northeast of Birmingham in St. Clair County, Alabama.
Okay. Well, I thought you hunted. Well, good. Well, I'm glad you had a good season. Did you limit out?
Not even close, O'Neill.
What is the turkey hunting limit there in Alabama?
5 bearded turkeys per season.
Oh, well, 5. Over here, Georgia, it's 3. So that would indicate to me you've got a good population. Did you see a lot of birds?
I'm sorry, O'Neill, you broke up there. Could you repeat your question, sir?
I said the limit is 3 here in Georgia, 5 in Alabama, which indicates a good population. So my question was, did you see a lot of birds this year?
I saw more turkeys this season than I've ever seen in my 40-plus years of turkey hunting.
Okay, which would indicate to me there's a good population, or you were in a good spot.
Well, let's just say it was a really good spot, and we had a lot of turkeys.
There you go. Well, I'm looking forward very much to our fishing trip this October. John and I go down to Cajun Vista Lodge in Barataria, Louisiana, and without exception, you correct me if I'm wrong, and then I'll shut up about the fishing trip, and I'll get to some more callers, but that is, we limit out every day, don't we, John?
Absolutely. I love it.
Yes, sir. I believe that that area in Barataria and where the Mississippi River comes into the Atchafalaya Basin probably is the best inshore saltwater fishing on the coast of the United States. Would you think that's an out-of-order comment?
I think you're spot on, O'Neill.
There you go. John, thanks for calling, buddy. I hope to see you soon.
Absolutely, O'Neill. Take care, my friend.
You bet. Glad you called. I really do. There you go. So let me see if I can know how to drop these calls. There you go. There you go. Well, welcome back. It's 33 after the hour. Great call from John. It's always a pleasure to speak to and entertain a call, discuss strategies, limits, and things of that nature with an experienced hunter or an experienced fisherman. And believe me, this John that we just spoke to is indeed that person. Hey, here's our old buddy Milton Crabapple. Good morning, Milton. What do you say?
O'Neill?
Yes, sir.
Milton Crabapple.
Yes, sir, Milton.
How
How are
you doing
you?
this morning?
I'm just doing just fine. Good to
I'm
hear
doing
from you.
good. You know, you gotta watch old John.
I know, he's sneaky,
You know,
isn't he?
somebody told me they saw him going into the Kroger store the other day wearing rubber gloves on his hand and wearing a Zorro mask.
I don't doubt it.
Yes, sir.
I don't doubt it.
You know,
Yes, sir. Oh,
talking about turkeys now,
okay, let's do.
I believe, you know, I had a good season this year, but wasn't long. I killed the biggest turkey I ever killed opening day of the season. But then we got shut down by the coronavirus, you know, didn't get to go back. But
I see.
I'll tell you, I believe next year folks are going to be, now I'm just going to say this, a lot of folks don't agree with this, but I'm just talking about all across the country, you know. I believe they're going to not see too many turkeys next year.
Why is that?
Because all these folks that ain't been working,
I see.
you know, they say the turkey population is down all over the place.
Yeah.
In general now.
A lot of people hunting, huh?
A lot of people hunting. The turkey killing numbers, from what I understand, are way up this year.
I see.
So the numbers of turkeys are down, and the number of them killed has been up. Plus, you know, the fur prices has done hit rock bottom, so there ain't nobody. Lots of folks have quit trapping, so the predator population is going to go way up too.
That's a good observation.
I just believe that a lot of people around the country are going to be kind of disappointed next year when they start turkey hunting.
Mm-hmm. I believe that too. That's a good observation. And I have another question for you. I need to go to a break. Can you hold on a couple of minutes because I have a question for you that I want my audience to hear the answer.
Well, I reckon so.
All right. Well, stick around right there. It's 36 after the hour, and this is O'Neill. We'll be back to talk to Milton. Well, we're in the middle of a conversation. Welcome back. This is WORX Radio and O'Neill Outside. We're in the middle of a conversation with one of our favorite callers and favorite personalities, and that is Milton Crabapple. And Milton's still on the line, I believe. There he is. Good morning again, Milton. I have a question for you. Ready? Okay, wait, what? Okay. Wait a minute. Let's give Milton.
Oh, is that you, O'Neill?
Yeah. Wake back up again so that we can have a chat. Ready?
Yes, sir.
I have a question for you. What is the most, and now you hunt in the mountains in North Georgia, don't you?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Turkey hunting, that is. All right. Do you think it makes a difference when you're hunting in the mountains in North Georgia that whether you can call a turkey uphill or downhill?
Well, I believe it's a whole lot easier to call him uphill.
Mm-hmm. Why do you think
But
that is?
Now, here's the thing, O'Neill.
Okay.
You know, early season hunting in the mountains is tough because if a turkey's roosting way up on a ridge and there ain't no leaves on the trees, he can see you coming from half a mile away.
Yes.
Because he's away. So you can't get out and prowl around a lot of times the way you can on flat ground.
Mm-hmm.
Because he can see, especially if you've got to cross a field or a pasture or something like that. But now, they roost way up high on the side of the mountain. So, you know, they got to come downhill to get down to the pastures and the fields.
Right.
So they come downhill, but people say you can't call them across a creek or you can't call them across a fence, but I sit and watch them cross through fences and cross creeks all day long.
I agree.
And I watch them fly across fences.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, they can't go nowhere up there where I am without crossing a creek or crossing a fence.
Certainly.
But you know what? They're peculiar animals, I'll tell you something.
Oh, yeah.
But I believe it's a lot easier to call them uphill than it is to call them downhill.
I think so, too, and I just wanted to make that point since you are what we'll call a mountain turkey hunter. It's easier to call them uphill. Well, did you have a good season?
I had a good one. I got one opening day, and I did something I never have done before.
What's that? Tell me about it.
Well, I saw a flock of 13 turkeys. They had two big long-beard gobblers in it, and several jakes. And I saw them with my binoculars. They was about 250 yards away, maybe 200 yards away, I guess.
Okay.
But I knew when I got out of my truck, they was going to see me when I walked across the pasture to my where I was going to hunt. So I just kind of put my head down and went on. I said, they're going to see me anyhow, but I ain't going to sit in the truck all day. So sure enough, they saw me. They didn't really spook, but they left when they saw me coming across there. They went on, left the field, went on up on the mountain. So I went and hunted now this was in the afternoon, about 2 o'clock. So at about 5, I said, I'm going to hunt till about 5 o'clock, or till whenever my butt tells me I got to get up.
Okay.
So at 5 o'clock, I got up and I started walking back, and I said, you know, this pasture goes up there, part of it like a steep hill, like a little mountain. We call it the mountain. Mm-hmm. It's a pasture, but it goes up like a big knob. I started going back, and I said, I wonder if them rascals would come back out into that big pasture. So I snuck up to the top of that knob, and I had one of them turkey fans in my vest. Mm-hmm. So I pulled that thing out and spread it open and kind of held it up over my face, and I crouched down. When I got up, I peeked up, and I could see them turkeys out there about 175 yards away. They'd come back into that pasture. And then as soon as I saw them, they saw me, and them heads come up, every one of them like a periscope. And I just crouched down, and where they couldn't see my head, and I just waved that thing sideways a little bit. Well, here them rascals come. And I'm telling you something, I ducked back down again. I said, maybe I ought to shut down. I said, no, I can't. I won't know where they are. So I just crouched down, and they come across there and come up that hill, and I poked my gun barrel out through there and shot one of them right in the face.
Good for you.
Yes, sir. And you know what? Now, they come up to within about 12 or 15 yards from me, and I shot one of them, and the other one just stood around. He didn't know what to do. They was all puzzled.
Uh-huh.
They said they ain't never been shot at by one of their own kind. But anyhow, I could have shot the other one too, had a bead on it, but you know, I didn't I didn't want to do that. One turkey was enough for me.
Mm-hmm.
Let the other one stay in that flock.
There you
but I'm
go.
telling you something, I ain't never seen nothing like it. I've seen it on TV, but I ain't never tried it before. But I'm telling you, I ain't going to poke my head over the hill no more without one of them fans poking up, providing I know there ain't nobody sitting over there hunting.
Right, so it really worked for you using a fan this year.
It worked for me just like you see it on TV.
How about
it worked,
that?
It was just a textbook. I mean, they come from 175 yards away. I didn't call. I didn't do nothing.
Well, that was.
I didn't move around. I just sat there. Hay was about a foot tall, and I just got down on my knees, sit there, and waved that thing around a little bit. You know how turkeys do.
Yes.
They wave that fan from side to side a little bit, and I was looking out from under it. I'm telling you, they come all the way across there just as pretty as you please. The whole flock did.
Well, I appreciate that story, Milton. That'll represent a lot of encouragement for people to maybe give fanning a try next season. Sure enough. Let's see, the season ends
Dude's
today.
working on writing a book.
Oh yeah?
He's writing a story about. We've had a great uncle that used to be a Texas Ranger.
Uh-huh.
He had quite a career. Dude's starting to write a book about him.
Oh yeah, what was his name?
His name was Woodrow Crabapple.
Okay.
I'm telling you, he was something too.
I'll bet he was.
Yeah, so
Well,
I'll tell you some stories about Woodrow.
Okay.
Sometime.
All right, I'd love to hear that. You come on up. We'll finish the season on the porch up here with a beverage. How about that?
Sounds good to me. Stop by the jail.
Yeah, be sure and bring your guitar.
I'll do it.
Thanks.
Much obliged.
You bet. Thank you, Milton. I appreciate the story and the encouragement, and I'll see you soon. Right now at 47 after the hour, let's talk to our friend from St. Simon's, Mark Noble. Good morning, Mark.
Hey, good morning, O'Neill.
Well, I got you up early, but that's not unusual, is it?
No, sir. This time of the year, we're working on them road trout pretty hard, and we're going to catch that morning tide and get out there on them.
Oh, well, good. Are you busy? You have a lot of people, since they're not working, a lot of people calling you to give it a try?
Well, O'Neill, it was slowed down, for, all the guys down here on the coast for a while. But, the past really week and a half or so, they kind of opened up St. Simon. Some places are open like restaurants and hotels.
Okay.
So people are staying down here. So we've been blessed that things are starting to slowly open up, business is picking up, and man, it couldn't have been timed perfectly more than that.
Fantastic. Well, let me give our audience a little bit of a history, if I can, and that is that Mark and I have probably fished together 12, maybe 15 times.
Yeah, I think actually probably a few more times than that.
Yeah, it could be, and we've caught 120-pound tarpon. We've caught 45-pound redfish. We've limited out on trout. We've caught Spanish mackerel. We've caught kings. Man, we've loaded the boat every time, hadn't we?
Yeah, we sure have. And, you just mentioned them trout. I remember Hunter Cole there with Pure Fishing. And, he got introduced to the Thunder Chicken down there with an artificial with no weight on it. Remember down there in Christmas Creek, O'Neill?
I do and remember that, yes.
That was some kind of fishing trip right there.
We were catching a trout on every cast.
Yeah, well, I mean, we went through 100 fish so fast that, if you wasn't there, you couldn't explain it.
That was great. What a great trip. And that's a casting float that Mark invented, and he's got the greatest name for a casting float I ever heard, and the name is... Mark,
you still there, O'Neill?
I'm still here.
You kind of broke out just for a second.
Okay, and the name of your casting float is the Thunder Chicken.
It's called the Thunder Chicken, and it is, it's a popping cork. My two daughters named the float, and we trademarked Thunder Chicken, because we was going to patent that float. But it's the first castable popping cork on the market. And let me tell you, if you like popping cork fishing, the cork's been around for a while and everybody's copying it. But if you want to fish the newest presentation on speckled trout, fish a free line with a float called the Thunder Chicken, and you can cast perhaps 40 yards plus.
You bet, and it really does work. Now, how got a huge audience this time of the morning, and that all of us want to go, they all want to go fishing, and a lot of them are not working right now, so how can they be in touch with Mark Noble to get in on some of this great fishing?
Okay, well, if you're looking to get away, St. Simon's has opened up quite a bit. So go to georgiafishing.net. That's N-E-T, georgiafishing.net, or stsimonfishingcenter.com. And you'll be able to catch up on what we're doing right now. Give us a call or give us an email. But my land, y'all, if you got cabin fever, St. Simon's Island, well, it's the place to come.
I will tell in support of that. Now that's St. Simon's. Give me the contact information again, please, one more time.
Okay, georgiafishing.net or stsimonfishingcenter.com.
Okay. I will tell everybody that I've been with Mark probably 20 times, and we've caught a limit every single time. And I believe we had one tarpon about 120 pounds, didn't we?
Yeah, we was doing that show trying to catch red drum, and somehow you ended up on the rod in the middle of a real good red drum bite on a big tarpon. And O'Neill, I'm going to tell you, that fish punished you pretty good.
Oh, yeah. Everybody else was catching one redfish after another, and there you hooked me up with about 120-pound tarpon that, took an hour and a half?
Yeah, that was something else. That's the thing. When you're fishing on the Georgia coast, even though we got a short coastline, the diversity in the amount of fish that's on the Georgia coast is absolutely incredible. So if you hadn't experienced this, just like O'Neill's tried to show people on his television show for years, Georgia is one of the top fishing destinations in the world for saltwater fish in a subtropical region.
Absolutely. You don't have to go to Florida. Okay.
You don't have to. Florida's great.
All right, one more question, just for reference here, then I'll let you go, and you say hello to Lisa, and I wish you well this weekend and throughout the season. But tell me this, what is the biggest fish you ever caught while guiding someone?
Well, the biggest fish that we've caught was some people out of Macon, Georgia. They came down, they said they wanted to fish for something big, and I said, what's your idea big, over 100? And they said, well, that's big, anything bigger. So I said, well, what about over 500? And they said, yeah. So we actually broke the IGFA world record that day.
All right, hurry, I got to go.
80-pound class line on a
How big was the fish?
810-pound hammerhead.
Oh, my goodness. All right, we'll talk again soon. I got to go, pal. Good luck to you. We'll talk again soon.
All right,
this is O'Neill. We'll be back. Thank you, Mark.
O'Neill Outside Radio is brought to you by these fine sponsors: WORX Power and Garden Tools, Toyota, let's go places. Visit your local Toyota dealers today. Big Green Egg, the most popular and most versatile ceramic grill. Huff Shed, great storage sheds and custom buildings. Year One, classic car parts for American muscle cars. Arctic Ice, the most durable, versatile, and effective cooler packs available. Timbuktu Outdoors, the ideal solution to live bait. Furminator, the best food plot implement on earth. And the Georgia Department of Natural Resources and State Parks.
From Black Powder headquarters and the Bojangled studio at Three Falls Cabin in the North Georgia mountains, it's time for O'Neill Outside. For anything in the outdoors, this is your source. Listen in and call the show with your comments or questions. And now, here's O'Neill.
Okay, we're a little bit ahead of ourselves, but that's okay. I'm going to forego our traditional introduction because I would like to speak within this second hour. I would like to talk to Austin. He's calling the show for the first time. Good morning, Austin.
Good morning, O'Neill.
And where are you headed today?
I'm heading to Lake Lanier today.
Oh boy, what are you going to catch today, Austin?
Me and my dad and my uncle are hoping to catch some stripers today, and I'm hoping that I can catch my first one today.
I have no doubt that you will. I have no doubt. Is your dad or your uncle an experienced striper fisherman?
Dad, are you an experienced striper fisherman?
I wouldn't call myself experienced. We usually try to get us a good guide.
He said he usually tries to get a good guide.
I heard that. Yes, indeed. And so it'll work for you. The lake is full of stripers. Fishing is outstanding. You're going to have a wonderful day together, and be sure and take a lot of photos. And
I will.
And send them to my website. Would you do that, or to my Facebook page?
Okay.
Aha, that's good luck to you, my good friend, and thank you for taking the time to call. I hope you guys with your dad and your uncle have a great day together.
Thank you. You too.
You bet. Bye, Austin.
Bye.
Have a great day, son.
Bye.
Bye. That's great. So let me go back. I wanted to get him on the air there. But this is WORX Radio every Saturday morning, 4 to 6 a.m., brought to you by, I've got time for this, brought to you by True Turn, by WORX Tools, by Stripling's General Store. Oh, my goodness. By Arctic Ice. Great sponsors, Rocco's, Ritter Critter, Gin Spring Power. We've got a lot of great sponsors of the program. No sponsors, no show. We've got a lot of calls this morning. We have the radio prize package coming up, and the Medal of Honor tribute at the end of the program. This is O'Neill, and I'll be back, I promise. Welcome back, everyone. This is O'Neill with O'Neill Outside, and we're scheduled now for the radio prize package. Let me post that out there for you. And then I want to talk to Wade from Bowling Green. But here's the rules. You have to be 18 years old, and you cannot have won a radio prize package before. Here is the prize package. A Bojangles gift card, a free Swaggerty's sausage gift card, Realtree hat and decal, a Big Green Egg koozie kit, an Angler magazine, DNR Rigs magazine, Georgia State Parks Guide, a can of Fisher's Choice baits, a selection of True Turn tackle, an Arctic Ice travel pack, a moon phase clock and forecaster, you need one of those, and a hydro shot glass from WORX Tools. Here is the question. The first caller to 404-872-0750 or 800-972-8255, tell me the answer to the following question. Gail and I have 2 daughters. Give me the first name of either one of them. Our 2 daughters, the first name of either daughter, and you win the radio prize package. So, and I do that for listeners, for people who call the show, not just trivia questions. Now let's talk to Wade. Good morning, Wade. It's O'Neill from Bojangles. What do you say, my good friend?
What's up, my buddy?
Hey, do you have...
How you doing this beautiful Saturday morning?
Good. Do you have Bojangles up there in Kentucky?
I do, sir, I do.
Oh, okay. Mighty fine.
But I'm gonna use that Rocco's card the next day or two. I'm coming down there.
Oh, are you? No kidding. Good for you. Well, be sure when you use it.
I got to do some horse trading.
Okay. Okay. What do you got to do when you come down here? What are you going to do to visit?
I'm going to swap some of them shotguns for some other shotguns.
Okay. Where are you going to do that?
No, I got my nephew's got my daddy's, so that's going to complete my whole collection.
Uh-huh.
So I'm going to swap ones with my buddy. He wants to give one to the daddy. He wants a feather light for the daddy.
Okay.
And I got one in the box. Well, my nephew's got my daddy, so I don't need 2 of them in the box.
Okay. All right. Where are you? So you'll be going to Rocco's?
Yeah, I'm going down to Buford.
Okay.
I lost my buddy Roger O'Neill. He died on me last week.
Oh, boy. How old was he?
When I was building that, 6 years old.
Uh-huh. Well, let me give you a tip.
They've been telling me he's going to die for 5 years.
No. Let me give you a tip. Ready?
But that's who I was doing that kitchen for, all that cedar, all that nice cedar stuff.
Oh, yeah, okay.
But anyway, I got to give you an update. The baby rabbits are coming up here. My beagles are going crazy.
Oh, boy.
I had a relapse of the virus on there that about killed me.
Oh, man. But you're okay now. You sound all right.
Did you get to... I'm still hoarse because I'm screaming for my dogs. They got out yesterday.
Oh, okay.
ticks are real bad up here.
I see.
I treat the yard, and I'm still getting them off of them. I think when they get out, they get them. But last night I had a possum come in about 10:30 in the apple tree. Dog bark, 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 bark. Gary towed him over the fence, the baby backyard. Well, about an hour later, Gary let him out again. Had one trap between the shed right here beside the house and the air conditioner.
Well, they
and it was a baby. Oh Lord.
Possums eat lots of ticks, don't they?
Yeah, I hope they do. But I got an apple tree.
Okay.
And I had some fish in a bucket that I was going to put under my tomato plants I planted yesterday.
Uh-huh.
And I think they wanted them fish.
Oh, I see. Yeah, they smell the fish and came.
They were the mama and they were the baby.
Okay.
But I got to go fishing. Me and Mike went fishing. We went to a little church behind the church. They had where they baptized people in a creek behind the church. Michael was catching little creek chubs on a little bitty hook and a little bitty bite of worm. 7 casts, O'Neill, he'd throw out there, and by the time I count to 10, he'd have one.
How about that?
And we took them over to Pay Lake and caught catfish. He caught a 7-pound and a 6-pound largemouth.
Okay. Ooh.
And the little girl there was his friend. I didn't fish. I just took her up, baited and took her hook. I got me some sunshine. She catch a brown, I'd take it off, throw it in the bucket, bait her hook. She's one after the other. I had more fun watching her if I'd caught all them big fish.
Oh, yeah, we ought to take more kids fishing. Well, I thank you for calling, Wade.
I had an awesome one ago made my dad. And Milton Crabapple, that joker, he must have a camera on me.
Why?
Well, me and the same guy. I went over there the same morning. I took my 16 over there. Couldn't find no shells for it.
Oh.
Well, I went over with him and his wife had went out. It was a birthday the day before. And they were a little bit under the weather that morning. I went back there banging on the window. He come outside and he said, man, you going to get me killed. I said, what? I said, man, there they are, look. They had about 20 of them out there, about 200 yards away on them. And I was using my mouth. I had my call in the truck. And I got them rascals so mad. He come outside and sit there and watched them. He said, man, we could kill both. I said, no, dude, if you got to lay down in the middle of the field and put a brown sheet over you, I'd call them towards you, and all you had to do is pull the trigger.
Oh.
I've never seen nothing like it on them.
You had a good hunt.
And I had a good day fishing, same all day, one day.
I believe that. That's a great combination. Wade, I'm glad you called, pal. I always look forward to speaking with you on a Saturday morning.
Hey, listen, O'Neill, did you get those regulations I sent you?
No.
All right. I probably recalled them. I got everything but the numbers. I'm going to send you another set. And
Please
I got
do.
my daddy's picture downloaded and printed, and I'll send you them.
Please do.
But I got your name, and I got Jasper, and I think I know the name of the road, but I don't know the numbers.
Okay, it's 472.
Oh, cold. Is it Cold?
Yes.
Coldwater Creek Trail?
Cold Stream Trail.
Cold Stream Trail.
Yeah. Send it to me,
Jasper,
man.
Georgia.
I got to go.
What's that zip code?
30143.
All right, I'm going to send you something going to make you happy.
Mighty fine. I like being
Happy
happy.
Father's Day. Emily and Amy, that's your girls' names.
Oh, my goodness. All right, thanks for calling. Thanks for calling, Wade.
I'll call you next week, brother.
All right, thanks, pal. I'll see you soon.
Later, buddy.
There you go. All right, I'll always love hearing from Wade. It's 32 after the hour. We've got time for this. The radio prize package question was, what's the name of either one of our 2 daughters? And Ricky is calling. Ricky, where are you calling from?
Athens, Georgia.
Athens,
Go
Georgia.
Dogs.
Okay, Ricky, one of my daughters' names?
Well, I remembered it before I called in, and I said Amy, and Wade just helped confirm it, so I believe I got a good answer.
I couldn't stop him. Yeah, you got it. All right, do we have your information? We'll send you the prize package. It'll take us a couple of weeks.
Yes, sir, and thank you very much.
You're welcome. Put it all to good use. Go fishing.
Taking my grandkids. Thank
Mighty
you,
fine.
O'Neill.
Thanks for participating, Ricky. It was worthwhile getting up this morning, wasn't it?
Yes, sir.
All right, mighty fine. I'll see you soon. There you go. Now we've got the radio prize package out of the way, and we've got the Rocco's prize package coming up. But first of all, what I'd like to do right now is I want to cover a few little fishing tips, okay? We don't have to do many, but things like when I introduced the first hour of the program, pardon me for looking to the right side, that's my computer over there. computer screen with the calls on it. But here's a couple of things I want you to think about in the springtime fishing. Just a little tip here and there, and I got them from TJ Stallings at True Turn, and it's called the True Turn Tackle Tip. Okay, ready? Here goes. If you're fishing in a stream, a river or a stream, you're using spinning tackle, and your line gets twisted because you're using a beetle spin or you're using some kind of a spinner or whatever the case might be, and your line gets twisted and so on, okay? How do you get the twist out of your line if you're in a river? Take off the terminal tackle so that you don't have anything on the end of the line and let your line drift downstream. And then when you reel it up, it'll take all the twist out of your line. You can do the same thing in a boat. You're fishing with spinning tackle, or you get your line twisted because of the lure. Drag it behind the boat the next time you move, and it'll take all of the twist out of your line. Another thing, don't store your mono fishing tackle, your mono fishing line, in the sun. Don't leave it in the boat sitting there in the sun if your boat is not put away in the shade or covered. Sunlight deteriorates mono line. Now, it has a half-life of 138 years. That's the reason you should not, if you're going to change line, don't ever throw it in the lake because it's going to be there for the next 138 years at least. Don't store your line in the sunlight. Okay? When you're on a big lake, a lake like Lanier and throughout Alabama and in the Carolinas, where you have stripers and other schooling fish that may come up close to the boat, always have a rod tied on with a spoon or a mini mac or a bucktail jig. Always have one in the boat ready. So if you have a school of fish come up, drop the other rod and cast into those with that size bait. That way you may catch one of those big stripers or hybrids or largemouth or spotted bass because you were more prepared for the school of fish that came up close to you. You won't have time to rig up. You won't have time to tie one on. Have it tied on already. This is O'Neill with WORX Radio. And we have more tips. I've got great news coming up, I promise, when we get back. Okay, welcome back. 40 minutes after the hour, and I've got a little special announcement for you. Those of you who live relatively close to, Gail and I live in Jasper, Georgia. And so I've got too many trophies, all right? My trophy room and the cabin here, the Three Falls cabin, is just loaded, all right? So that more people can enjoy all these mounts, and I'll give you the story behind some of them sometime, I have taken a great number of the mounts over to Appalachian Gun, and they are in Jasper, Georgia, along Highway 515. There's a special display of white-tailed deer, a great number of some of the fish. I've got a buffalo head. I've got a big bear skin. I've got lots and lots of trophies that are O'Neill trophies, specimens, if you will, and they are at Appalachian Gun in Jasper, Georgia. They're all for sale, but you might want to drop by and take a look. It might be that the size of some of those fish, the size of some of those mounts fit your story, that fit the time you went and hunted, the time that you went and caught a largemouth bass or a rainbow trout or a permit in salt water or a striper. It fits for you. So they're all for sale, very reasonably priced, and I'm kind of lightening the load here. At Appalachian Gun in Jasper, Georgia. It's the O'Neill Outside Museum, if you will, okay? If you have a chance and you might be interested in having some of those trophies, then visit Appalachian Gun. You walk in the door and turn right, and there's the museum. There are all the displays. There's photos of every one of them, and and prices on every one of them. Okay, it might be a good thing for you to consider if it fits some of your trips. Okay, so now the highlight of the second hour of O'Neill Outside is our description and tribute to the Medal of Honor. So we can begin that.
Honor, courage, and strength of character. These qualities are embodied by the recipients of the Medal of Honor. Now let's recognize this week's Medal of Honor recipient on O'Neill Outside.
Sergeant First Class Benny Adkins, Vietnam, 1966. When the camp was attacked by a large VC force, Sergeant Adkins rushed through intense hostile fire and manned a mortar position. Although he was already wounded, he ran through exploding mortar rounds and dragged several of his comrades to safety. When the hostile fire subsided, Atkins exposed himself to sporadic sniper fire and carried his wounded comrades to the camp dispensary. During the evacuation of a seriously wounded American, Atkins maneuvered outside the camp walls to draw fire and successfully covered the rescue. During the early morning hours of the next day, a VC regiment launched their main attack. Within 2 hours, Atkins was the only man firing a mortar weapon. Although he was already wounded a second time, and most of his crew were killed or wounded, he fought off the fanatical waves of the VC, and after withdrawing to a bunker where several Americans were attempting to fight off the VC, Atkins killed numerous insurgents with rifle fire. Running extremely low on ammunition, he returned again to the mortar pit, gathering the ammunition, and ran through intense fire back to the bunker. Atkins and a small group of men fought their way out of the camp and evaded the VC for 2 days until they were rescued by a helicopter. Staff Sergeant Bernie Atkins died April 17th, 2020. And that is a hero. Okay, 45 after the hour. This is O'Neill with O'Neill Outside. And the telephone numbers are 404-872-0750 or 800-972-8255. And let's talk to Daryl. We've got a good conversation going on here. And Daryl is calling from Dallas. Good morning, Daryl. What's going on with you, sir?
Just working today, driving a truck up here, trying to haul a little bit of material. Yeah.
Mighty fine.
You know, I heard y'all talk about those fans. Well, I went and bought one.
Okay.
I got out there, I took it out there, I set the thing up, got out there, I was proud of myself, got it all set up and everything. I was sitting there, I thought, man, I done messed up. I had to go back to the house. Went back to the house, had to get my generator, come out there, hook the generator up to the fan, because that's the only way I could get it to work. So I don't know how y'all get y'all's fans to work.
Well, they're battery powered.
Oh, are they? Okay, I remember that next time. No, I did get me a turkey this year. First one I've got in a couple of years. I got him in the afternoon. Believe, in the afternoon, all by himself, walking along the edge of the field. I was in the garden, plowing my garden up, planting the garden, back over on the edge of the field. He's out there just walking around, picking around, doing anything. I called that bird in 5 minutes.
How about that?
In 5 minutes. I went to the house, got my shotgun, got my turkey call, went back down to the garden, didn't have nowhere to set up. I sat between the tiller and the tractor on the tiller there, and I called that bird in 5 minutes and killed it.
How about that?
Couldn't believe it. They always say if you see one in the afternoon, you can really get him in. And
That's
exactly. I got him in.
That's exactly right. Yeah, if you can get one to gobble, or you can see one alone in the afternoon, that's the easiest hunt, isn't it?
He never gobbled. He
Really?
never gobbled the first time. I called 3 times. I just went, no, no, no. And I put the call in my pocket. As a diaphragm call, I put the call in my pocket. 5 minutes, he was on the ground.
You know, I think more turkeys are taken when you've already put your call away than when you have it in your hands.
You know, and you said it, and I've heard a lot of people say it. When you call that first time, that first jip, not the second, not the third, not the fourth, that first jip, he knows where you're at right then.
Absolutely.
Right then.
He's got you.
And best thing to do is put it up and leave him alone.
Mm-hmm. And he'll wander in. Well, that's a good story, and be sure and use the batteries for your fan. It's a lot easier.
I'll do that next time. I'll go get him today.
All right, my
See
good friend.
Man.
Have a good, safe trip this morning.
See you now.
All right. That's great. Had to go get the power for the fan. Okay. 404-872-0750, 800-972-8255. Excuse me. I'd like to point a couple of things over there on the display of our trophies at Appalachian Gun. When you go there, when you see them there, okay, be assured that all of the fish, the trout, the permit, the largemouth, the bonefish, they're all fiberglass mounts, but they are full body mounts. Now you can go to the internet and you can get half body fiberglass mounts. You don't want that. You don't want that. You want full-bodied mounts. Now, two things I want to... So they are all fiberglass. They're all hand-painted. And they'll last you a lot longer than a skin mount trophy fish will. But there's one that I want you to look for over there. Those of you who are saltwater guys. Those of you who have been for redfish. Let me tell you the story. I was in Cocoa Beach area. I was in the Banana River, and I had a guide. His name was Dr. Drum. I can't remember. I'll remember his name in a minute. And we were doing a show, and so he's on the platform, and he's really good at spotting shallow water redfish. And he spotted him for me. He said, "There's a school out in front of you at about 12 o'clock. Take a good close look." Well, the sun was just right, and so I could see the lead fish in a teardrop-shaped school of redfish in about 2 feet of water. The lead fish was a giant. And the guide told me, he said, "I think that's about a 50-pounder. So I was using just a plastic jig. Remember years ago, what was the name of those baits? Well, it doesn't matter. It was a curly tail jig, 12-pound test line. And I got down low so I wouldn't spook, and I cast out in front of the school. This fish was tailing. His tail was out of the water. And when my curly tail jig landed in front of him, out at about 10 feet, then his tail went down and he went after my jig and he picked it up off the bottom. I set the hook, and when I set the hook on him, I spooked the school, and the fish swam right next to the boat. I was catching up line because he was headed my way. The entire school of reds spooked and swam by the boat, and I could see my line going into that fish's mouth. And the guide said, "That's a 50-pounder. I ended up catching that redfish. He weighed 51 pounds and was 54.5 inches long. Him or her, I don't know. I took the measurements, took photos, and put him back. That is the mount that is at Appalachian Gun. So if you are a red angler for redfish, that would be quite a trophy for you for your trophy room, would it not? A 51-pound redfish. And the reason I have, and I got to tell you, I've got a moment, the reason I have so many of these in such fabulous conditions is a few years ago when the show was doing very well, I made a pretty good living. And I had given an awful lot of money to muscular dystrophy, Jerry's Kids, remember? And I had donated a lot of money to them. And so Bass Pro Shop, because of how much money I had donated, said, we want to do all of your personal records. And I said, are you sure about that? And they said, yep. How many? And I told them how many there were. And about 3 months later, a truck showed up, and it had all of my personal records done by Bass Pro Shop. You can see them at Appalachian Gun. And I'll be back. 57 after the hour. We've got time for one more call. Let's chat now with Tony before the show ends today. Good morning, Tony. You're on the radio. Welcome.
Good morning, O'Neill. How are you, sir?
Great. You got a great voice. You should be on radio.
Well, I used to own a place called the Georgia Pig Barbecue, and you might remember Ludlow Porch. Milton Crabapple, I know you know him. I've been listening to you for about 4 years now. And I was with Greg Robinson yesterday, dropped off a tractor-trailer load of food up in Duluth for Feed My Sheep.
Okay.
Got talking about fish guiding and this, that, and the other up on the lake. And I told him, I said, I listen to O'Neill every Saturday without fail. He said, hey, man, he said, I'm with you.
I'm flattered.
And we just I wanted to call you in, say thank you for everything you do. We're out here at the Atlanta Community Food Bank trying to make sure these people around the Atlanta area are fed, and we just thank you for the inspiration you give us every morning, especially me coming into work. So that's why I called.
That's an admirable task, and I congratulate you. Is it going okay?
Well, it's going better than we ever expected. Our expectations are being met. We feel like there's an invisible hand, just like this invisible situation that appeared that's guiding us all, and we're just very well pleased with what's happening. The National Guard, you couldn't ask for a more disciplined group of young men and women that have come in and taken the bull by the horns and just really and truly give us the comfort we needed to know that we could make it through, and just been receiving food and donations and people reaching out from really all over the United States and abroad, and just helping us all they can to see that we do our part here in Georgia, and the places in other areas that have been hard hit. Texas has been hit really hard, and just helping us with the whole mission and what we're doing. WSB Radio can't say enough good about what they've done for us. I listen to them, and just pay attention.
I got to go, pal. The heroes are plenty, and with very seldom any congratulations, except people like yourself and occasionally on this show. I got to go, pal. Good luck to you. You bet. All right, and let me leave you with this. If you're too busy to go fishing and take a child along, you're too busy. We'll see you guys next week.
I once asked a mighty hunter, coming home from the field, how he came to possess such mighty hunting and fishing skill. He said, I'll tell you a secret, son. I learned everything I know from listening to O'Neill Outside on my radio. O'Neill, O'Neill, O'Neill Outside.